75 years old, Cynthia Williams had been bedridden by an illness for a while. After several months in the hospital, her health was restored. Although all her bills were footed by her only son, Maxwell, he didn't have time for his mother since he worked as a pilot. A week after Cynthia recovered and was discharged, the doctor warned her not to be alone again. Maxwell couldn't dump his mom at the elderly home, so he took Cynthia into his home to live with her grandson, Noam. Cynthia was a regular at the Florida beach before her illness, so the weekend that followed her move into her son's home, she embarked on the heartwarming journey with her grandson. As Cynthia arrived at the beautiful beach of Florida, she marveled at the shimmering golden sand and the soothing sound of the crashing waves. The scent of salty area air brings back cherished memories of her youthful days when she used to run around the beach with her friends. The sight of the vast ocean expanse brought tears of joy from her eyes. It had been such a long time since she had immersed herself in the salty embrace of the beach. Noam was a tech-savvy teenager who normally finds following his grandmother to the beach unexciting. However, he realized that Cynthia's enthusiasm for nature was unbeatable. With his support, Cynthia made her way to the water's edge, with each step filled with gratitude for the healing journey she had embarked on. She sat close to the water, and the water gently flowed to her feet. She held Noam's hand and heaved a sigh of relief as the cool water gently caressed her feet. After a while, they strode back to the beach, building sandcastles with little children. Cynthia couldn't help but recount her adventures when she was Noam's age. As the sun began to set, they called it a day and returned to their home feeling fulfilled. While they were at the beach, Cynthia was happy that her not-so-interested grandson became deeply engrossed, as he kept saving the essence of their beach journey through videos and pictures, trying to preserve his adventure with Grandma. Although Noam had visited the beach many times, the feeling was different. Maybe it was because he went with a family member. Maxwell is always at work and doesn't have time for him. Noam's mother divorced his dad when he was 10, and he never saw her again. However, with Cynthia, he would not feel alone. Maxwell was granted a summer break, which he intended to spend with Cynthia and Noam. Noam's reaction upon sharing the news with him was one of excitement, and he promptly proposed that they return to the beach. The trio set their spot near the shoreline when they arrived at the beach. Although she had been there the previous day, Cynthia couldn't help but marvel at the vast water in front of her. She felt compelled to take advantage of the sandy beach and gentle surf. After Maxwell advised her not to wade too deep, she responded immediately and dove in. Maxwell and Noam didn't swim but went to a nearby ski shop to rent ski boards and towboats. While Cynthia swam slowly in the shallow parts, Max and Noam set out into the water equipped with their skis, life jackets, and the towboat. As the boat accelerated, they felt the rush of adrenaline and water spraying against their face. The feeling of gliding effortlessly through the water was heavenly as they found their balance and adapted to the boat's motion. Max and Noam became more comfortable on their skis with each passing of time. They navigate the water's surface expertly, feeling the resistance and power of the tow rope as it propels them forward. Waddling like a duck, Cynthia found solace in the water as well. Eager to see what lay beneath the surface, Cynthia swam forward and submerged herself slightly. She looked ahead and saw a massive shark approaching her at high speed. She tried to swim back to shore, but she was too slow to outrun the predator due to her advanced age and recent recovery from an illness. Within seconds, the shark tore into her flesh. She screamed, but neither Maxwell nor Noam could hear that. Firstly, they were far from her. Then they giggled and laughed loudly, excitedly filling the air so they couldn't hear. Little did they know that Cynthia was in grave danger. Fear gripped her as she realized that she was in an unsafe situation. However, she didn't succumb easily to the prey. What ensues is a relentless and desperate struggle against the formidable predator. She fights back with every ounce of strength left in her ailing body. Fortunately, she escaped its grasp and tried swimming back toward the shore. Despite her valiant effort, the shark returned, striking her again on the same wounded leg. Cynthia's resilience was put to a great test as the pain intensified. However, she refused to succumb to despair. By this time, other tourists on the beach have seen the attack and call out to everyone in the water to come out. The lifeguard also went into the water to save her. That was when Noam and Maxwell looked back and discovered Cynthia was in danger. The shark had ruthlessly sank its teeth into her stomach, leaving her weak and writhing in agony. Her scream echoes across the water as she battles the acute pain from the encounter. Maxwell, Noam, and the lifeguard reached Cynthia in time. The shark was sprayed with a repellent to ward it off. Then Cynthia was brought to the shore, where she continued to bleed heavily. When the shark bit her, she had no more power to ward it off but possessed a sheer will to survive, making her mind race with thoughts of loved ones and unfulfilled dreams. After she was saved, Maxwell and Noam stayed by her side while waiting for the paramedics. Minutes later, they arrived and she was carried into the ambulance. Unfortunately, Cynthia passed away while on her way to the hospital. She went into shock because of the blood loss she endured. Maxwell was devastated by the news but comforted by the fact that he had been able to spend some time with her mother before she passed away. Noam, too, was unhappy with the turn of events. He had been suffering from boredom, which disappeared with his grandmother's presence, and now death had snatched her away. Cynthia was buried at a local Florida cemetery, and her offspring had to carry on with life. Jordan Stoke was an avid swimmer who had competed several times for his home country, Ireland. He even won the silver medal at the concluded 1954 International Swimming Championships. He had discovered his joy for gliding through water early, so he propelled himself to hone his skills and dedicated himself to training, which made his talent evident. Stoke began participating in local swimming competitions as he grew older, consistently dominating his age group. He caught the attention of renowned swimming coaches who recognized his great potential and guided him toward refining his technique and developing endurance. All the training paid off when Stoke made it to the world stage and won the silver medal on his first try. The crowd erupted into applause, acknowledging his remarkable achievement. Although he narrowly missed the gold, Stoke promised to deliver the coveted medal in the next competition. His coach was also happy with his dedication, sacrifice, and determination, so he gave Stoke a free vacation with all costs borne by him. Stoke boarded a ferry going to his vacation island, Isle of Man. The island is a perfect place for vacation. It offers a diverse coastline with picturesque beaches and stunning waters. The beaches provide a range of tourist options, the sandy stretch or the rocky coves. Its water is also clean, making it a perfect place for Stoke. As Stoke arrived at the beach, tranquility washed over him. The beach appeared serene and untouched, with soft sand stretching before him. Ireland has several beaches, but none have the pristine beauty of those on the Isle of Man. Despite his coach's warning not to venture into the open water, Stoke was eager to embrace the water. He quickly changed into his swimwear and waded into the refreshing ocean. The water enveloped him, cooling his skin from the warm sun. He could feel the difference of the natural water from swimming pools. With each stroke, he felt the world's weight slipping away, replaced by a sense of connection with nature. The beach became more peaceful as he swam further from the coast, and the bustling of everyday life at the beach gradually receded into the distance. Stoke reveled in the solitude, relishing the chance to immerse himself in the peacefulness of the surroundings. Once in a while, he dove into the water, marveling at the underwater world and creatures. Snatches of vivid corals and darting fish always attracted his eyes. The water gave him revitalizing breaths of the salty air. Stoke floated with his back to the water, watching seagulls soar in the golden light of the setting sun. He was enjoying this view when tragedy struck. The tranquility of the water was abruptly shattered when a monstrous shark emerged from the depths and gnashed onto Stoke's leg. He screamed, but no one was nearby to hear him. He knew he had to free himself from the jaw of the predator. Despite the bite inflicting a grievous wound on his leg, Stoke remained undeterred by the excruciating pain. His survival instincts kicked into high gear, flinging his hand frantically to hold something. His hand held on to the shark's gill and he dug into it. However, the shark seemed relentless as it shook him violently before releasing its grip. Stoke swims frantically out of the predator's jaw and moves upward toward the shore. However, the shark was not finished with him yet. Stoke's determination to survive was evident in the way he swam towards the shore despite being in pain. He didn't rest for a second, fearing the shark might be coming after him. His entire swimming career and enthusiastic life spent exploring the ocean's wonders flashed before his eyes as he endured the torture. Realizing how much was at stake, he propelled himself to summon every ounce of his strength. The shark, determined to make Stoke its prey, swam toward the shore and maneuvered its direction. The shark now faced Stoke, who was unknowingly swimming toward it. Before he could discover that, the shark swallowed him and unleashed a powerful bite on his head. That immediately rendered him lifeless. Although the shark later released its grip after pulling him into the depth of water for a while, the harm had been done. Stoke's coach alerted the Isle of Man authorities about the potential missing swimmer. When he didn't hear from him throughout the day, a search was conducted throughout the city and also the water. After 2 days, Stoke was found floating on one of the beaches and had begun decomposing gradually. The lifeguard recovered his body gently and he was transported back to Ireland for a proper funeral. Before he was buried, an autopsy was conducted, and a 2-inch-long shark tooth was found in his skull. Stoke's untimely death was a tragic event that profoundly affected the nation. His death sent a shockwave throughout the country, leaving his people devastated. When the news was first published in Ireland, people discarded it as a rumor. They struggled to accept the sudden loss of their promising talent. Someone who recently won an international medal for the country couldn't have died such a horrible death. When it became clear that he was dead, the swimming community, fellow athletes, friends, and family were devastated. Their grief was compounded by the closeness of their friendship with Stoke. The whole country mourned his death. Vigils and memorial gatherings were organized nationwide. The country rallied behind Stoke's grieving family, offering their support and condolences. Various NGOs and crowdfunding campaigns were initiated, and they supported the family in their time of need. The Isle of Man authorities closed the beach and launched a full-scale search to capture the shark who killed Stoke. With the help of the shark's tooth recovered from the autopsy, they knew it was likely a 10-foot-long shark. After some days, they captured the shark, and it was euthanized. Signs and banners highlighting the risks of the water were strategically positioned along the shoreline to deter any more damage. Also, barricades were placed in the water to warn swimmers not to cross the boundary. Although appropriate measures had been implemented already, Stoke's death will remain a defining moment in the history of the beach. Jack and his wife Emily were high school teachers in a public school in Atlanta. They were so preoccupied with their profession that they couldn't attend extracurricular activities. So they took a vacation to Houston City for the Christmas break and enjoyed getting away from their busy life. It had been a while since they last took a vacation, so they were excited to experience the city's thriving culture and history. As they both set foot on the golden sands of Houston, they could feel the excitement building within them. After spending a few enjoyable days in Texas, Jack and Emily headed to the nearby coastal town to indulge in beachside relaxation. Their snorkeling adventure was about to begin, and they eagerly made their way toward the rental shop. With their snorkeling gear, they couldn't wait to dive into the crystal-clear waters and immerse themselves in the beauty of the ocean. Little did they know that this would be the start of an unforgettable journey. Jack and Emily waded into the sparkling azure waters of the ocean. The sun's rays danced on the surface, creating a mesmerizing display of light and shadows beneath the waves. They submerged themselves, entering a world teeming with vibrant marine life. Jack and Emily discovered a hidden cove as they explored the underwater realm. It was a secluded paradise, shielded by towering cliffs that seemed to rise from the ocean's depths. Intrigued by its mysterious allure, they ventured further into the cove, their hearts pounding with curiosity and anticipation. Suddenly, a gentle current pulled them deeper into the cove. They followed its lead, navigating through a labyrinth of coral reefs and colorful fish. As they swam further, they grew more captivated by the breathtaking scenery. It was as if they had stepped into a surreal dreamscape. But then, just as quickly as the current had appeared, it vanished. Jake and his wife found themselves in a vast open expanse of water with no visible path back to the shore. Panic set in, and they realized they were lost in this unknown ocean part. The only idea that came to their mind was to rise from the water to assess their situation and swim back ashore. As they try swimming upward, they glimpse an 8-foot-long shark charging at them. Jack and Emily's hearts raced with fear as the shark approached them in the cove. They had to act swiftly to ensure their survival. Jack and Emily instinctively dived deeper into the water, hoping to confuse the shark and buy themselves some time. By swimming downward, they aimed to minimize their visibility and create distance between themselves and the predator. But the shark followed them nevertheless. While on the run, they spotted an underwater cave. Jack and Emily swam towards it, seeking refuge from the shark. The cave's narrow entrance provided some protection, limiting the shark's ability to maneuver inside. Jack and Emily took a moment inside the cave to catch their breath and analyze the situation. They realized that staying in the cave was not viable, as they must find a way to escape and return to the surface. Jack proposed a plan to divert the shark's attention from the cave entrance. He would swim out and try to distract the predator so that Emily could swim to safety. Emily was at first against the idea, but Jack persuaded her that it was their only choice. He scurried noisily out of the cave. The shark chased after him, proving the success of his plan. Jack's adrenaline-fueled swim led him to escape the pursuing shark. He used his familiarity with the underwater landscape by navigating around coral reefs and other natural obstructions. While that happened, Emily swam safely to the shore and called the lifeguard in charge of the beach. The lifeguard, Maya, took with her a shark repellent and raced toward the water. Despite Jack's effort to safely reach the shore, the shark closed in on him and clamped onto his leg. He groaned and turned back to fight against the predator's powerful jaw. He desperately tried to free himself, but the shark gave him no chance as it shook him vigorously in the water. Jack was so severely shaken that he passed out, and the shark immediately began dragging him deeper into the ocean. Fortunately, Maya arrived there just as things were looking hopeless. As a professional lifeguard, Maya saw the commotion and immediately sprang into action. She maneuvered through the waves, determined to reach Jack and save him from the beast's jaw. Maya swam up to the shark and sprayed it with the repellent. The shark loosened its grip on Jack and instantly swam away very fast. After ensuring the shark had gone, Maya held unconscious Jack and swam toward the beach. While waiting for them, Emily was pacing back and forth nervously and trying to forecast what might happen to her husband. Immediately, she sighted Maya carrying Jack. She raced toward her and helped Maya with her husband. Jack was laid on the sand, and Emily performed mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. After a while, he coughed out water and was alive. He was later taken to the hospital for further treatment. Jack had learned a lesson the hard way: never to dare a shark. By the time he was discharged, he had gained a newfound appreciation, not for the ocean's beauty, but for its potential dangers. His ankle, which required 6 stitches after the bite, had been a focal point of his attention. He was particularly grateful to the lifeguard who did her work passionately, saving his life. The Houston community congratulated Maya, and the mayor compensated her. Even though Jack survived the attack, Emily made him swear off the water forever. She said there are different places to visit for vacation, and they aren't deadly as the ocean. Despite Jack's efforts, her views remained the same. Jack later accepted her that way since she was after his well-being.